When it comes to your mental body, we're literally talking about your actual mental thoughts, patterns, self-talk, whether that's negative or positive, your thoughts in general, your mental chatter over mindfulness. Is your mind full or mindful? And so when it comes to mental health, it's not just about how you feel or your emotions. We talked about emotions last week. When it comes to mental health, I want to give you an activity to focus on. But before I share this tool with you, I want to highlight that we're going to avoid feeling negative emotions about ourselves as we think about our normal, natural thought process and patterns. Think of your brain and the feedback loops that occur in your brain like the algorithms on a social media app. The more you feed certain content, the more you pay attention to certain content, the more of that content is shown to you. So the more you pay attention to certain thoughts, memories, and tie emotion to those things in a negative way, right, the more you're going to constantly think about those things, or you're essentially training your brain that you want to think those thoughts. You are training the brain to think about those thoughts. So if you're able to screenshot this image here, hopefully it is small enough for you to screenshot. This will take you directly to unhelpful thinking patterns, or what most psychologists or therapists refer to as cognitive distortions. Most therapists who offer cognitive behavioral therapy will review this type of information with their client. This is a great tool for everyone to have. I really wish they taught this maybe in like middle school or high school for individuals, because it really would help to understand the different thought patterns that we have that show up in our day-to-day that are not as helpful. Be sure to visit my website, www.ilmhealingsolutions.com, so you can grab the course content information. You can also grab it on my link tree in case this app goes away. Be sure that you follow me on YouTube and join my email list. So here's the unhelpful thinking patterns or unhelpful thinking styles, general information in the event that you weren't able to grab the QR code. Now, these are common unhelpful thinking patterns, okay? Now, I want you to look at these and I want you to assess for yourself. This is your activity that you're going to do. Assess for yourself which one of these show up the most. You don't have to use this actual PDF here. You can just Google unhelpful thinking patterns. You can Google cognitive distortions or whatever search engine you use. You can even ask ChatGPT to help you out with understanding the cognitive distortions and unhelpful thinking patterns. These are the most common ones. And I want to stress the importance that they are common. So what that means is that you're not alone. So if you're looking at any of these unhelpful thinking patterns and you're saying like, damn, I do that. My thought patterns tend to go there. Awareness is the first step, right? It's the key for making changes when you are aware that, hey, this is happening and this is probably not helpful for me. And so in my book, Healing My Four Bodies book, I do highlight some of the most common unhelpful thinking patterns, not all of them. And I highlight, the common ones that I've seen, which is minimization. Sometimes we minimize things that happen to us, right? And that could also be a way for us to, like a defense mechanism in a sense. Sometimes we disqualify the positives in our lives at the same time. The biggest ones that are happening right now, I can probably guarantee, is that we're jumping to conclusions. There's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot going on in the news. Jumping to conclusions. We're maybe disqualifying the positives. All or nothing thinking is when, it's either black or white. There's no gray area in between. We're also going through catastrophic thinking, so magnifying what is going on right now. Now, while in some respect, we can rationalize the thoughts that we're having, we also have to pause, take a deep breath, and fact check, reality test our mental thoughts and saying, hey, is this fact? And in that moment, it may not be, right? Because our mind cannot predict the future, right? We can't go and change the past either. So if your brain is ping-ponging from the past to the future, you, my friend, should be practicing more grounding and more mindfulness, that fact-checking yourself, taking deep breaths, to really ask yourselves, is a cognitive distortion showing up or unhelpful thinking pattern? And how do I stop that feedback loop or that algorithm in my brain from constantly going there? The more you're aware of it, the more you can practice the tools, and the more that you're able to decrease some of the unhelpful thinking patterns that show up. And I hope this was helpful. We're going to move into the next lesson, so make sure you follow for more.